Yo, what is up, guys? It is Pharaoh here, and we are here to talk about the bounties of the Yonkos, or I guess we're going to be estimating the bounties of the Yonkos, given that we now have an idea of how much bounties that these Yonkos may have, especially with the current events of the most recent One Piece chapter, with Luffy becoming an emperor with an insane bounty raise. Now, even though Big Morgans wrote the article in a way that favored Luffy, we can still use Luffy's bounty as a gauge to measure the bounties of the other Yonkos. Now, Luffy was given a bounty of 1.5 billion berries, which is also the highest bounty in the series as of right now, but we also know the other Yonkos more than likely have higher bounties, actually way higher bounties than Luffy right now. There's no doubt about that, but the reason why Luffy's current bounty is so important is because Luffy has been recognized as the 5th emperor alongside Kaido, Blackbeard, Shanks, and Big Mom. So based on this, Big Morgans, who probably knows the bounties of the other Yonkos, must have based Luffy's new bounty based on the bounties of the other Yonkos. Obviously, Luffy is going to have the smallest bounty amongst the emperors, given that he recently joined the ranks, and we know that his influence and power isn't exactly on the level of the other emperors. And throughout the course of the series, we've seen bounties as measures as to what kind of pirate you are. From 50 to 100 mil, you're basically a famous pirate in the blue seas, but not necessarily in the new world. Once you get into the 300 to 500 mil range, you're essentially a world-renowned pirate that even people in the new world would know about. And from then on, it's mostly the commanders of a Yonko's crew, which ranges from 600 mil, which is usually the weakest commander, to 1 billion, which is usually the first mate or the strongest commander in said Yonko's crew. So it's safe to say that a bounty that is considerably higher than the strongest commander in the Yonko's crew should be for special individuals such as, obviously Luffy, Rayleigh, who was the right hand to Roger, Dragon, the commander-in-chief of the Revolutionary Army, who has the highest bounty in the series, obviously, the 5 emperors, and maybe any other lurking legends like Shiki or some old gen we haven't seen yet. So essentially 1.5 billion and above is in the territories of the Yonko. And with that, let's head on to Blackbeard. Now with Blackbeard, given that he's more of, a more recent emperor that received his status of a Yonko only a year ago after his fight with the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates, and that he hasn't really been around as much as the other Yonkos, such as, like Big Mom or Kaido, and we know his crew isn't exactly there yet, given that he's still looking for power, not only for his crew, but potentially for himself as well. So it's safe to say that he has more than likely the second lowest bounty after Luffy. However, I do think there is a decent gap between him and Luffy, because I think Luffy is at the literal threshold of being a Yonko. And with that, I think Blackbeard's bounty would range from 2 billion to 2.5 billion. Then we have red hair Shanks. Now, I think Shanks and Blackbeard are like of the same vein, though I do think Shanks definitely has the one up, given that he was an already established emperor before Blackbeard became one. However, I do not have him higher than the likes of Big Mom or Kaido, and it has nothing to do with strength. Shanks isn't exactly a dangerous individual in a sense of his personality, and if anything, his crew is more renowned for their strength more than anything. For example, a lot of people said that any Yonko would have ended Marineford just like Shanks. I disagree. It's only because it was Shanks that war ended. Sengoku essentially said, "I will allow it just because it's you, Shanks." Shanks is only known for being strong, but he's also known to be, I guess, a quote-unquote a good pirate, given that even Sengoku respects him. Shanks so far has been shown as a pirate who doesn't really have any goals other than the fact that he tries to keep the balance, but for this same reason is why his bounty will not be as high as Big Mom or Kaido. And with that, I think Shanks' bounty would probably range from 2.5 to 2.8 billion berries. Then we have Big Mom. Now, Big Mom is definitely one of the older Yonkos alongside Kaido. It's evident given that they're so old. Big Mom's 68 and Kaido is probably around that range as well. The story hints at these people being established emperors before Shanks joined the game. And when it comes down to Big Mom, we know Big Mom literally started her life as a pirate in the New World. So Big Mom's foundations were strong when it came down to ruling the New World. And even during her teen years, she was already taking controls of islands, and she already had I think she had a 500 million berry bounty at a young age, probably in her teen years. We also know that Big Mom has several goals, and one of them being her becoming the Pirate King, and she's not exactly the most sane pirate either. She actively tells her underlings to kill people and burn entire islands for the sake of candy, which is something I doubt Shanks or even Blackbeard would do. So essentially, Big Mom is not only a Yonko, but a dangerous one at that. So when it comes down to Big Mom and her bounty, it probably ranges from 2.7 billion to 3.5 billion, and this is given because of her nature as a pirate. Finally, we have the strongest creature, Kaido. We all know, I think Kaido probably has the highest bounty under Dragon himself. Now with Kaido, first of all, he has a world title, which essentially translates to the strongest thing alive. And it's not the strongest beast alive, it's the strongest thing alive. And that alone should make the Marines worry about him. And we know that Kaido has a track record with the Navy and the other Yonkos, and even though he was captured several times, they couldn't exactly kill him. Apart from that, we know that he actively goes out on his own looking for wars to fight, even if he has to fight them alone. And this is also a trait that his crew also takes, as seen with Jack when he tried to attack Sengoku's ship alongside Fujitora, alongside Tsuru as well, all by himself. And when we look at Jack's bounty, which is 1 billion, and based on the theme that Kaido's crew has a car-like theme, we're led to believe that Jack is the weakest commander. Now I don't think like the calamities are going to be far apart in strength. They're going to be relative. No, Jack is not going to get low diff by the strongest commander. I think it's all high diff throughout the 3 calamities in Kaido's crew. But yeah, we're led to believe that Jack is the weakest commander, yet has a bounty that is relative to the first commander of Big Mom's crew. And Jack, who seems to be a way watered down version of Kaido. So if his commanders have really high bounties that exceed other bounties of commanders in other Yonko's crew, that should say something about their captain. So when it comes down to Kaido, I think it makes sense for him to have the highest bounty, or the second highest bounty in One Piece, in the One Piece verse, right behind the most wanted man, Dragon. So I think Kaido's bounty would probably range from 3 to 4 billion berries. And obviously Dragon's would be the high ranges of 4 billion or maybe 5, but you know, who knows. Oda could very well break our ankles with all these bounty predictions. Now there's one more individual that I'm going to talk about, and that's Whitebeard. Now even though Whitebeard's bounty is no longer active since he died during Marineford, that doesn't deny the fact that he was also a Yonko, and not just a regular Yonko, but a rival to the previous Pirate King. Whitebeard's bounty must have been top 3 in the verse. Now Whitebeard had a lot going for him. Apart from having the powers to destroy the world via the Guruguru no Mi, he was also hailed as the strongest man in the world. In terms of strength, he would best anyone, but he was also called the man closest to the One Piece after Roger died, but didn't go for it because he wasn't really invested in becoming the Pirate King. And apart from Rayleigh, he probably had the longest active bounty in One Piece. Now even though Whitebeard did grow old and weaker, he was still recognized as a Yonko that could fight equally against the others. Even though I think he was the weakest at that time due to having heart attacks mid-fight, it still wouldn't be an easy fight for any other Yonkos or even the Admirals. It's hard to get around the Quake Fruit even in old age. So in terms of what he was back in the day, Whitebeard's bounty more than likely surpassed that of every current Yonko of this era, and his would just be under Dragon as of right now, because when Dragon was the world's most wanted man, Whitebeard was still alive. So that kind of says that, you know, even then Dragon's bounty was higher than Whitebeard. So I think Whitebeard probably had a bounty in the ranges of 3.5 to 4.5 billion berries, and Roger on the other hand was probably in the 5 billion, to be honest, given the fact that he was a Pirate King, and being a Pirate King is like the ultimate threat to the world government. So yeah, but also given Whitebeard's nature of being sort of like Shanks, where they don't really go out, you know, killing people and stuff like that, I would say his bounty would be a lot lower than it should be, given that he's not as dangerous as the other Yonkos such as Big Mom and all those guys. But yeah, Whitebeard definitely crazy in the past. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you guys think about my rankings? Do you agree? Do you think it's way higher? Do you think it's way should be way lower? Comment down below what you guys think. I would like to hear what you guys think. Drop a like if you like the video. Subscribe for more content on this channel. And if you want to get notified for future uploads, hit that notification bell. Be a part of the notification squad. But it is fair, guys, and I will see you folks later. Peace.